Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to draft a basic body pattern step by step. If you're new to pattern drafting, this is one of the most important patterns and you need it for everything you sew. The measurements we'll need are the bust, waist, shoulder and the full length measurements. For this, you'll be needing your tape, your ruler, your curve and something to draft with, maybe your pencil or your marker. Now let's get started. So on the border line, I'm going to create a straight line. I'll draw a straight line across the top, a vertical and horizontal line. The next thing I'll do is to mark my shoulder to bust point. Mine is 10. After marking my shoulder to bust, I'll mark my shoulder to under bust, which is 13, and my shoulder to waistline, which is 16. Your waistline is also your half length. After that, I'm going to mark the full measurement of this dress. I want mine to stop at 23, so it depends on where you want your dress to stop or your top to stop. Now I'm going to draw a straight line across the point I made. Mark a straight line like you see me do in the video. Now I'm labeling the lines. This is my bust line, my under bust, my waistline, and the full length of the dress. Of the top, I keep calling it a dress. Now the next thing we are going to do is to determine our chest line. Okay, that's your armhole depth. And for your armhole depth, you're going to do your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So mine is 2 inches, so we are going up by 2 inches. Now I'm going to mark a straight line across this and I'll label it as my chest line. The next thing I'll go ahead to do is to mark our shoulder slope. Okay, so you take your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Mine is 7, so we're going to mark 7. And then whatever you have on that shoulder line, you come down to your chest line and mark the same thing. So mine is 7. Now we're going to connect it with a ruler, as you see me do in the video. Now we are going to be taking our neck measurements. We're going to bring our neckline. So on the shoulder line, I marked 3 inches and 3 inches by 3 inches. That's a basic neckline, 3 by 3. So I'm going to connect it with my curved ruler, as you see me do in this video here. So this is our neckline. Okay, so on the shoulder line, we're going to come down by 1 inch. This is for our shoulder slope. Our shoulder is not straight, so this is what we have for our shoulder slope. So the next thing we are going to do is to take our full body measurement. So on the chest line, I'm marking my bust measurement divided by 4. Yes, on my chest line and my bust line, it will be equal. So I'm going to also mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Then on the waistline, I'm marking my waist measurement divided by 4. Mine is 7, so I'm going to mark out 7. And then on the full length, I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4. Mine is 9.5. So do the same for yours. Now we're going to connect these lines. So I'm going to be using my curved rule to do that. I'm going to connect the lines. Just do it exactly the way you see me doing the video. Connect the lines together. Now you can see the body curve. Okay, so if you're a curvier person, yours is going to be more curved than this. So now on the we are going to mark out our armhole. On that line we marked, we are going to divide it by 2. So 7/2, we mark the midpoint, and then from the midpoint we come out by half of an inch. This is for the armhole curve. So we are going to connect the lines from the shoulder slope to the armhole, just like you see me do in the video. Connect the lines together. This is for the front bodice. The back bodice is quite different from the armhole. So this is for the front bodice. Now after doing that, we're going to be marking our dart. So for the dart, you're going to take your nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 3.5, and I'm starting from the bust line. I mark the 3.5 all the way down to the full length. This is for our waist dart. We are trying to mark out our waist dart. So your nipple to nipple measurement, divide it by 2. Mine is 3.5. So we are going to rule a straight line across these points. Now from the bust point, we are coming down by 1 inch. This is because I don't want the dart to get to the bust point. So we are coming down by 1 inch. And then on the full length, we are going up by 2 inches. You can also do 3 inches depending on your choice. Now on the waistline, because this is a waist dart, I'm going out by 1/2 inch. So by using 1 inch dart, you divide it into the 2 spaces like you see me do. So half inch on each side. Now I'm going to connect it from the top where we marked down to our waist, like you see me do in the video. Replicate it. Now we are going to also mark it down to the point we marked. After marking that, measure again. Now we are going to be replacing our dart. So on the waistline, we are going to be replacing the 1 inch dart at the side. Now connect your lines again, just like you see me do. Now we've replaced whatever has been short by the dart, and this is our front bodice. Okay, so this is your front bodice for a basic bodice pattern. Now we'll move over to the back to draft the back bodice for the same body measurement. Okay, so for the back, we'll do the same thing we did in the front. Mark your horizontal and vertical lines, just like we did for the front. Mark it down. Now, after marking it down, we are going to be doing the exact same thing we did for the front. Mark your bust point, your under bust, your waistline, and your full body measurement. Yeah, the full length rather. So you mark a straight line across these points like we did for the front. So we are basically repeating what we did for the front for the back bodice. We are going to see the difference between the front and the back in a very short time. Okay, so I also went up by 2 inches for my chest line, just like we did in the front. Remember I said for the chest line, you do your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Okay, so I went ahead to label this just like we did for the front pattern as well. Now the next thing is to mark out our neckline. Okay, you mark your shoulder measurement. Mark the same thing on the chest line, just like we did for the front. Connect it with a straight rule. And then for our neckline, you will see the difference between the front and the back. So remember the other one we did 3 by 3, but this one will be doing 3 by 1 inch, because the neck depth for the front is usually longer than that of the back. Okay, so go ahead and connect this with your curved rule. If you don't have the curved rule, you can still do freehand, but it's better with the curved rule. Now we're going to go ahead and mark our shoulder slope. if you watch the front bodice pattern, you see that what we are doing is exactly the same thing. So after marking your shoulder slope, you go ahead and mark your full body measurement. Remember, on the chest line, whatever you have as your bust measurement is what you mark on your chest line as well. Okay, so go ahead and mark your waist measurement divided by 4, and your hip measurement. For your full length, you'll be using your hip measurement divided by 4. It's the same thing we did in the front pattern. Now we're also going to take our nipple to nipple divided by 2 minus 3.5. So that's what we are doing. Mark it all the way down. All the way down. I made a little mistake there. So we're going to go ahead and connect this with a straight ruler. So for the back bodice, our dart intake, just like we did for the front, we'll mark half of an inch on each side at the waist point. But we are going to be marking this from the chest line. Remember that for the front bodice, we didn't mark from the chest line. So that's the difference between the front and the back. So you also mark up by 2 inches and then connect it just like this. Okay, this is your dart leg. That's what it's called. Okay, so after that, for the armhole, there's also a difference. On the armhole, we'll do the same thing we did for the front. Divide your measurement by 2. But this time, we are not going to be marking half of an inch inside. We'll just connect it from that point that's down to the chest line, just like this. So this is what we have for our back armhole. Remember, for the front, it was inside, but for the back, you don't do that for the back. Okay, so we'll move on to replacing our darts. So you mark the difference and mark that out. Whatever difference you have for your dart, mark it out. And remember, whatever you have on your bust point, you mark on your chest line. Now for our waist, we'll be replacing our 1 inch, like you see me do. And then we are going to connect our lines. So this new line is the one we'll be using now. This is the one we'll be using. Okay, so this is it for the back pattern, and this is the front. Now we'll go ahead to cut it out. Okay, so you can see we are using the new lines. So for the front, you can see the armhole and the neck depth. This is very beginner friendly. So if you're new to pattern drafting, this is something that is very easy for you to do. I didn't use any complex pattern. Maybe when I'm making an intermediate design, you're going to see the difference. Now let's compare the two together. As you can see, the neckline, that of the front is deeper than that of the back, and for the armhole, you can also see the difference in the armhole. Okay, while the waist align, you can see that the armhole is different. That of the front is deeper than the back. And then also for the dart intake, the waist dart, you can see the difference clearly. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.